If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles.
What's up guys, BM Fox here. I am back with another guide. This time it is artillery. This guide has been requested a lot as artillery combat can be pretty complex. In this guide I'm gonna start explaining all the different artillery units. As you can see, I've made a couple of beautiful stacks, so I'm gonna explain you how you can best stack them, their terrain bonuses, and how you effectively can micromanage them in combat. And finally, you'll also see a couple of mock battles that I've made together with my alliance mates. So let's start, let's go to the research menu. I wanna go to the ordnance branch. At day 1, you can unlock artillery, the FK-16. Now click on it. You can immediately see that artillery counters heavy armor. As you all know, heavy armor are medium tanks, tank destroyers, heavy tanks, railroad guns. However, I wouldn't go in range of railroad guns. With an artillery, they are slow, they have 30 speed, only 12 hit points. That's not a lot, so you need to protect them well. Have an attack range of 50, so they are ranged attack, anti-heavy armor, and offensive. Artillery is an offensive unit that is most effective against armored targets and buildings. It can bombard enemies from a safe distance without taking damage and should be placed behind other fighting units, which I'm gonna explain later. You've got two different kinds of combat statistics. In the attack, this will be a ranged attack, the attack that you have from the distance. Because artillery can attack units from a distance without taking damage themselves. That's why they're so good. But they also can deal defensive damage. However, you see that their defensive value is very low. This defensive value is only used when your artillery are locked into melee combat. This is something you want to avoid at all costs. They have a very low versus airplane value, so you need to protect them with anti-air, but I'm gonna get back to that later. And you need to be very careful because versus ships and submarines are very weak as well, both as a land unit and in convoy. So they do quite a lot of damage for a level 1 unit against heavy armor, but you see, only one artillery doesn't deal a lot of damage. Artillery is only effective if you have them in numbers. You only need a level 1 ordnance foundry to produce them. They're quite cheap, however they cost a lot of goods. So in the early game they're quite difficult to produce as you need a lot of goods, of course. But the most important is their terrain effects. In hills and mountains they deal 50% more damage. However, you want to be very careful because in the mountains artillery get a minus 50% speed buff. So they're double as slow in the mountains. And already in enemy terrain, they are 50% slower as well. So if you're in enemy terrain in the mountains, you move only at 25%. 25%, that is not fast, guys. So be very careful when you move around with artillery because you don't want to get caught by fast units. Next range unit is the self-propelled artillery level 1. This is basically the faster and bigger brother of the regular artillery. They are also heavy armor, but as you see at level 1 they deal more damage. They're way faster, they have a speed of 49, they have the double amount of hit points. Their attack range is the same, so the ranged attack, anti-heavy armor, offensive, just like artillery, but they are faster. They deal more damage. So self-propelled SP artillery is an offensive unit that is most effective against armored targets and buildings, blah blah blah. It's the same as artillery. The only difference is that they are best used to travel alongside other motorized units, well, because they're fast, okay? I'm gonna get back to that later when we talk about unit stacking. They already have more decent stats versus unarmored units and light armored units, but they excel in the attack versus heavy armor, right? You only need an ordnance foundry level 1 to produce them. However, they are a tier 3 unit and you need an ordnance foundry level 3 to be able to produce them in 6 hours and 15 minutes. In an ordnance foundry level 2, they're gonna take 11 hours to produce, so take care of that. They're extremely expensive. They cost 2,100 goods and 1,600 manpower, but also 900 steel, 680 oil, and $2,000. They don't come easy. You need a strong economy to be able to produce SP artillery. They deal 20% extra damage in the plains and 50% damage extra in the hills. They move 25% faster in plains, but in both hills and in forests, they get a speed nerf of 25%. 25% slower in hills and forests, 50% slower in mountains. So think about this, especially in enemy terrain, they might be fast units, but in certain terrain, they're pretty slow. Artillery and the SP artillery are the only two ranged units that you can produce in an ordnance foundry. For the others, we need to go to the secret tab. In the secret branch, you have rocket artillery. Rocket artillery is versus unarmored units. They deal 4 damage versus unarmored units, 36 speed, so they're a little bit faster than regular artillery. They still have the same range of 50, but they have a bit more hit points than regular artillery. They have 5 more hit points, 17 in total. So they are, of course, ranged attack, offensive, and anti-unarmored. So rocket artillery is an offensive unit that is most effective against unarmored targets and damaging province morale. If you remember, artillery and SP artillery was good against armored targets and buildings. Rocket artillery, they're good against unarmored targets and damaging province morale. And just like artillery, they can bombard enemies from a safe distance without taking damage and should be placed behind other fighting units, alright? For damage versus unarmored units, they can deal a bit of damage also against light armor and heavy armor, 2.5 and 1.7. Just like with artillery, they're weak in melee combat, so you better don't use them on a defense. You need to protect them with anti-air, but we're gonna get to that later. You need a secret lab level 1 to produce them, and they're pretty expensive also for an early game unit. 810 food, 1200 manpower, cheap on steel however, which is very good, and 1300 rare material and $1600. They take 4 hours 15 minutes to be produced. A very big difference with regular artillery is however that they take 17 hours to be researched, whereas regular artillery takes only 2 hours and a half to research. Rocket artillery gets the same bonuses like regular artillery, so in the hills and in the mountains. Speed is nerfed with 50% in the mountains, so just like artillery, be careful with this. And then just like with the regular artillery, also rocket artillery has a self-propelled version which is faster, the SP rocket artillery. They deal 6.9 damage versus unarmored units, speed 55, 29 hit points, also a lot more. The range, always the same, ranged attack, offensive, anti-unarmored. So basically it's all the same stuff, but they move faster and they should travel with other motorized units so they can move fast. So versus unarmored units, 6.9 hit points. They deal quite a lot of damage against light armor as well, 5.2, and 2.9 versus heavy armor. Again, you want to protect them with anti-air. You need to produce them in a secret lab. They take 7 hours 15 minutes minimum to be produced, but just like with SP artillery, you need a secret lab level 3 to produce them without the speed production penalty. They're expensive, 1.6 manpower, 1000 steel, 1000 oil, 2000 rare resources, $2,200. So you better make sure that you have a good economy, guys. They get the same terrain bonuses as SP artillery, so they deal 20% more damage in plains and 50% more damage in the hills. They move faster in the plains, 25%. However, they get a speed nerf of 25% in hills and forests and 50% in mountains, just like, yeah, indeed, SP artillery. And then we've got the last ranged unit, which is the railroad gun. The railroad gun is a very famous unit. You might all know it under the name of Schwere Gustav, Heavy Gustav, and it has used during the Battle of Sebastopol and was after that transferred to Leningrad, and it is the biggest artillery piece ever produced. It is extremely powerful. These are of course access stats, so it deals 11.5 damage. For other doctrines it's 10 damage, but as I'm gonna explain later, the railroad gun gets a 15% access bonus. The speed is only 28, which is the slowest unit in Call of War, but its attack range however is 110. This is more than the double of all the other ranged units. Very important, the view range is only 42, which is less than the half of the attack range, so you always need a scout unit together with a railroad gun. They have also more hit points, 46 hit points a railroad gun, so the ranged attack and offensive. The railroad gun is an offensive unit that has the longest range of all units, is best used to bombard troops and cities from far away, dealing the most damage to heavy armored targets and buildings. To make use of its huge range, it needs other units as spotters. Versus unarmored units, they deal 7.5, versus light armor 8.6, versus a heavy armor 10.4, versus ships 6.3, even against submarines 2.3, versus buildings 11.5, and you also can attack province morale. You need to produce them in a secret lab. However, if you don't want any speed production penalty, your secret lab needs to be level 4, and then you can produce them in 10 hours. They're extremely expensive: 2,500 manpower, 2,800 steel, 2,200 oil, 2,200 rare materials, and $3,900, but they are worth every single penny of it. They don't get any terrain bonus as well, because they're already powerful enough. However, they get a speed bonus in plains, but they get speed penalty of 25% both in the hills and in the forest, and in the mountains they get a speed penalty of 50%. They're extremely slow. Please be careful with those units. They're very expensive. You don't want to lose them. Next up is the Doctrine bonuses. So let's go to the wiki. Then you need to scroll to the list. Warfare Doctrines right over there. Please remember that all the units that I've shown you so far are Axis. Axis gets 15% more hit points, 15% more damage, and their units are 10% more expensive. So if you watched the damage output, the hit points, and the production cost of the units that I've shown previously were Axis units, alright? If you are playing Allies, Comintern, or Pan-Asian Doctrine, the production cost, the hit points, and the damage of your units will be slightly different. So please take a note of this. This being said, let's scroll down to the ordnance. The Comintern Doctrine gets a 10% production cost reduction and 20% production time reduction. So Comintern can produce artillery fast and cheaply, and the Pan-Asian Doctrine has the best artillery in the game thanks to their extra terrain bonuses, extra line of sight, extra speed. They deal another 10% extra damage versus unarmored units, and just like Comintern Doctrine, they get 10% production cost. All this combined, Pan-Asian Doctrine has the best artillery in the game, and the Allies artillery is the weakest. Next unit is the SP artillery. Allies Doctrine is the only doctrine that gets an SP artillery bonus. They deal 15% more damage versus heavy armored units, and they get 10% more hit points. However, the best SP artillery in the game is Axis right here, because those deal 15% extra damage to all units, and they get 15% extra hit points. And as Allies Doctrine gets a 10% speed reduction, also the Axis SP artillery is faster than Allies. Comintern Doctrine is the only doctrine that gets a bonus for a rocket artillery. And which one? All the doctrines can unlock rocket artillery at day 2, but Comintern can unlock them at day 1. And as rocket artillery counters unarmored units and everybody in the game starts with unarmored units, this is overpowered. Not only do they unlock it at day 1 day faster than the other doctrines, they can produce it also 20% cheaper. They can also produce it 20% faster. Comintern Doctrine is the only doctrine that gets a bonus for the SP rocket artillery. They move 15% faster, and they deal 10% damage versus all units. So this is pretty good. Combined with already the cheap upkeep and cheap production cost of the Comintern Doctrine, this makes the SP rocket artillery for Comintern Doctrine a very, very interesting. And then finally we have the railroad gun. All the doctrines can research railroad guns on day 6. However, Axis can do this 2 days sooner at day 4. They get a 10% extra range, so the Axis railroad guns can outgun any other railroad gun in the game, which is a tremendous advantage. And the Axis railroad guns are also 10% faster than the other dock. Of course, the Pan-Asian railroad gun still is the fastest, but as the Pan-Asian railroad gun doesn't get any additional terrain bonuses, the Axis railroad gun deals the most damage of all the doctrines. It has the longest range of all the Doctrines. However, the Pan-Asian railroad gun still is a bit faster, as their Doctrine gets a 20% extra speed bonus, X's only has 10%. As you can see, I have made 3 types of artillery stacks for you. I've made one stack with regular artillery units, so regular artillery, regular rocket artillery. I've got one motorized stack, so with motorized units and self-propelled units, and I've made one railroad gun stack. Let's start with the early game stack, which is the regular artillery stack. The perfect artillery stack has 26 units. Why 26? Because you want 10 ranged units. So I've got 5 rocket artillery and I've got 5 artillery. Those are 10 in total. As only 10 units fight in a stack, when I attack with my artillery are going to deal 100% damage, even though I am overstacked. Because you can see here army size 26. The stack is far too big. Only the 10 best units fight, the others are idle. So in my case, my rocket artillery and my artillery are going to fight. Additionally, in my stack I have put 5 infantry and 5 anti-tanks. Infantry are very good against unarmored units, but they are weak against armored units. So that's why I also have anti-tanks, because anti-tanks are very good against armored units, but weak against unarmored units. So the anti-tank plus the infantry, they cancel each other's weaknesses, and the 5 infantry and the 5 anti-tank combined give me both protection against unarmored and armored units while keeping an optimal damage output, because those are 10 melee units, so I have 100% damage efficiency. If you want to know more about how to stack units or learn more about the damage efficiency, well then just click right now on the card that appears on your left upper corner of the screen so that you can queue them up when you're finished with watching this video. Alright, so I have 10 ranged units, right? I have 10 melee units. Then I've also put 5 anti-air. I've put 5 anti-air because I want to dissuade anyone to attack with bombers. I mean, you need a lot of bombers and high level to take down a stack of 26 units, even if they don't have anti-air in them. So if you have anti-air in there, then you're gonna deal a lot of damage to the enemy bombers, and they most probably will choose juicier targets instead of your artillery stack. And then finally, I have one scout unit, the armored car. I've upgraded them even to level 3 so that I cannot get ambushed by any stealth units like militia, commandos, anti-tanks, tank destroyers. The last thing you want is your valuable artillery to get ambushed in the forest by militia and anti-tanks where they get a bonus, for example. So why have I chosen 5 artillery and 5 rocket artillery? Because I could have taken only rocket artillery or only artillery, right? But I've put 5 of each. Why? Because as you know, artillery counters armored units and rocket artillery counters unarmored units. So with this artillery composition, I can take out both unit types, because while players, they stack their units together and they stack unarmored and armored units together. So if you want to be efficient, that's how you make your artillery stack. Same goes for my melee units, 5 infantry, 5 anti-tank, because most players, they use stacks of both armored and unarmored units, right? So I do the same. However, this stack is not the holy grail, because if this stack is going to get attacked by 10 motorized infantry, then I'm gonna take a lot of damage, because those anti-tanks, they serve no purpose. If I'm gonna get attacked by 10 medium tanks, then I'm gonna be in pretty bad shape too, because my infantry won't serve a lot against medium tanks. Then again, anti-air have pretty good anti-armor values, but it's not their rule. So be careful. This might be a pretty good stack, but it still has its vulnerabilities. You're always gonna march with this stack like this, always together. Now imagine that there's an enemy that will attack you, then you can stop your march, split it up. I'm gonna split off my meat shield, so that's my infantry and my anti-tank, and I'm gonna put them in front of my artillery. Be careful to leave at least a small distance between your artillery and your meat shield, because any unit that's closer than 5 will get locked in melee combat as well. So in this case, I'm gonna put them 10 minutes away from artillery. That is enough. If the enemy comes force marching to you and you really need to be fast, then you can also take your artillery stack. You can move it 5 minutes in the other direction. And if your enemy is really fast, then just force march your artillery out of there, force march your meat shield towards the enemy. But as these are defensive units, always try to stop in time so that you're on defense only, because if you're gonna attack with these defensive units, you're gonna take way too much damage. Alright, next stack is the motorized self-propelled stack. The basics are completely the same like the early game stack. So I've got 5 SP artillery, which are very good against heavy armor. I've got 5 SP rocket artillery. Those are very good against unarmored units. So again, these two, they take both armored and unarmored units, which is perfect. As Libya is Axis Doctrine, I have adapted myself to my Doctrine, and so I chose for a motorized infantry level 3, and my motorized infantry are going to act both as a meat shield but also as a scout unit, and I've put them together with 5 medium tanks. Personally, I prefer to use offensive units as a meat shield for Axis. In my case, medium tanks and motorized infantry, both of them get an Axis Doctrine bonus, which is great. So these 10 units are going to function as my meat shield, and they give me protection against both unarmored and armored targets. And finally, I have also added 5 self-propelled anti-air, so that again I have at least some protection against enemy air force. Of course, you're gonna have interceptors too, but when you're asleep, your interceptors, they can do jack. Anti-air are amazing because they do their job 24/7. So if you're inactive, if you're sleeping, your anti-air is gonna keep your units safe. If you play another Doctrine, you might opt for other units to protect your SP artillery. For allies, for example, I would advise 5 tank destroyers and 5 mechanized infantry. They're both defensive units, they're fast, and they get allies Doctrine bonuses. If you are Comintern, for example, you could use just 5 armored cars, 5 medium tanks. And if you are Pan-Asian, it doesn't really matter because you don't really get bonuses for these faster units. So if you want to be fast, you could just opt for 5 armored cars and 5 light tanks, for example, to have your Doctrine bonuses. But then again, you're going to be weak against heavy armored units, but you can't have everything in a perfect world, so you can choose for yourself which stack composition you want to choose for your respective Doctrine. Then next up finally is the railroad gun. Their range is crazy, but they are very slow. So if you're in your core provinces, you might consider building infrastructure to increase their speed, because they're the slowest unit in Call of War. Railroad guns are extremely expensive, so you want to protect them the best you can. So I went for overkill. I've got 10 infantry over here. So even if they get attacked by 10 motorized infantry, I should be fine. I've got 10 anti-tanks, so even if I get attacked by 10 medium tanks, I should be fine. I've got 10 anti-air, so any plane that will come is just gonna get slaughtered. I've got 1 armored car, because you need an armored car in your railroad gun stack, as your railroad guns only have a view range of 42. So you always need a scout unit to spot targets far away. I prefer to have 1 armored car in my stack over here, but if you want to scout further, I mean, you could also use interceptors, right? But then again, interceptors can get shot down, but a railroad gun stack with 41 units not gonna get shot down. As a railroad gun is very slow, you can just protect it with simple cheap units. Anti-air, anti-tank, they are slow, but the railroad gun is even slower. You just want an effective protection. Those are the cheapest units you have to protect them, but you can protect them efficiently because, hey, your railroad guns already cost a lot, so why use expensive units, right? However, if you really want to go all the way and you really want to go crazy, then I'm gonna tell you right this. You take 10 railroad guns, 10 heavy tanks, 10 SP anti-air, and those railroad guns are gonna be driving fortresses. Nothing can take it out. Let's talk about upgrading now, right? Making artillery stacks like this, it costs a lot of manpower. So what kind of unit are you going to upgrade first? I already said it. First and foremost, you're gonna upgrade your armored car. Secondly, if you have air dominance or your enemies don't use a lot of air, you're gonna upgrade your artillery next. If you don't have air dominance and your enemy uses a lot of planes, then you're gonna upgrade your anti-air before you upgrade your artillery units. You're gonna upgrade your meat shield as last, because your meat shield, you're only gonna use it as a last resort. You're always gonna try to attack. I'm gonna attack the unit, then I'm gonna stop attacking and I'm gonna retreat for half an hour. After half an hour, I'm gonna attack again. I'm gonna retreat and attack, retreat, attack, retreat, attack. To use artillery, you need to be careful. I often set alarms of 29 minutes so that I get my alarm and I know, okay, I need to attack again and retreat again. You don't want to get caught in melee combat. Sometimes in enemy territory, your enemy is too fast and you're not gonna be able to continue to shoot and scoot. Only in that case, you're gonna split off your meat shield from your artillery stack like I did now. Because now your artillery stack has less HP, it is more vulnerable. Now planes can take it down easier, or you could get counter hit by artillery. So splitting up your meat shield from your artillery stack is a risk. You should only do it in the last resort. I'd like to thank my alliance buddy in WO because he has helped me to make the artillery guide. As you can see, he is an excellent player both in regular games and in alliance versus alliance games and tournaments. In WO, thanks a lot, mate. When I asked him to help, he was very keen to help and he actually went the extra mile and he made a heckload of units. Let's see, he has one railroad gun stack, 10 railroad guns, optimal damage output. He has chosen to protect his railroad guns with 5 armored cars, as those counter unarmored units, and 5 anti-tank to counter heavy armor. He also has 10 anti-air to counter bombers, and he has upgraded them all to the maximum level. However, if a stack of 10 heavy tanks would force march into this, it wouldn't end well. Then again, the heavy tanks would receive tons of damage of the railroad guns as they counter heavy armored units. He has another artillery stack that is almost not defended. He wants to use it as a fast mobile stack because, well, high-level artillery is pretty fast. You have a 48 speed, that's almost the same as an SP artillery, and deal 12.2 damage versus heavy armor. So this is a unit that is meant to march behind other units because it has no anti-air protection, it has no melee units in there whatsoever. So if the stack gets surprised by a stack of armored cars, for example, it's gonna be bad. However, he has 30 interceptors on standby to defend his units. He also has a small rocket artillery stack with a little bit of infantry protection in there. This would be perfect, for example, to attack an AI. 10 railroad guns. He has lots of protection around it. However, there's no anti-air, so this railroad gun stack could get snapshot on direct attack by attack bombers, and that would be pretty bad. So even if you think you're not gonna get attacked because you have a lot of units around it, please put anti-air in there. This is a small, very fast mobile stack. 1 armored car as a scout, 3 light tanks, very high level, and 10 SP rocket artillery, perfect for Comintern Doctrine as those get a bonus. A very light defended rocket artillery stack, but then again, rocket artillery is pretty fast, 45 speed at level 3, but as he doesn't have a lot of melee units, if he attacks, he's gonna have to be highly mobile. Do the same thing, a small but a highly mobile stack. Here, optimal damage output, 10 rocket artillery, but a little protection. Here he made another a big railroad gun stack, protected by only 5 armored cars and 5 anti-tank. I mean, it's enough. This can be enough to protect your railroad guns. You don't have to put an infantry anti-tank in there like I have done. And finally, another railroad gun stack was very lightly defended. And then he also has very dangerous, as you will soon see, a stack of 10 armored cars and 10 light tanks. Those are very fast. With artillery, you have 2 options. You can either use the attack command to attack units. I can target by clicking here the armored car division. I could target the light tank division, or I could, even if I wanted, I could target this province, for example. I see this often in games. Players, they target a province center far away and they send their units on a march while they go to bed. This is a bad idea. However, let's see what happens if you use the attack function. If you set a long march and then you go inactive for a while, what happens if at that province center there are units around? So in this case, I'm gonna use the attack function. I'm gonna target the province center. There we go. Declare war. Just for your information, often players, they target the province center, but smart players, they don't always put their units in a province center because they know they risk getting attacked by artillery when they are offline. So if you meet a smart player like Turkey, for example, and I target here the province center, I risk hitting an anti-province center without doing any damage to units. The only thing that actually will happen is that I'm gonna show Turkey when I'm offline, because if I would be online, I would target his units, right? Anyway, let's just see what happens. In 2 seconds, I'm gonna open fire on the province center. There we go. The attack timer is still red, so effectively I haven't attacked yet, but that's just a delay. I've already attacked. It just takes a couple, there we go. It just takes a couple of seconds before it becomes gray again. This is what happens when you attack a province center with the attack command right over here. If you give the attack command is going to do one thing. It is going to follow your command. Your units, especially artillery, are very loyal. There is no insubordination. They're not gonna put in question your order. If you tell your artillery to attack the province center, they will attack the province center. They will not attack any units nearby. Even though the 3rd Turkish armored car division is in range and I could perfectly attack them, my artillery will not attack those units because I didn't command them. And there is a danger in doing so, because right now you can see that Turkey is counterattacking. He is coming right at me and it takes him only 14 minutes and 20 seconds to attack me. And what am I doing? I'm hitting a freaking empty province center. I mean, this is so stupid. You should never ever use the attack command and target empty province centers. The only thing this shows right now is that I am offline, and sometimes you see players bombarding an empty province center for hours, and the only thing that you accomplish with doing so is telling the enemy when you're sleeping. Never ever use the attack command to attack province centers, guys. So now I need to get out of here fast because I'm in enemy territory, and as you can see, for this small distance my units, they need 33 minutes. So here I'm pretty screwed. I'm deep into enemy territory and I'm not gonna be able to march out of here. My border is 1 hour and 8 minutes away. These armored cars are moving in very fast. So I have to force march out because I'm in trouble. Okay, now let's do this again, but this time I'm just gonna march my units in range. Let's see what happens, okay? So in 10 seconds my units will be in range. Let's see what will happen now. As you can see, as soon as I'm done marching, my artillery will attack the closest unit in range. When I hover over my unit, you can see the next attack, 3rd Armored Car Division of Turkey. So now I'm not targeting an empty province center, I am targeting units. And that's the job of artillery, right? And if in this province there wouldn't have been any units, then I wouldn't have opened fire, which is good because, as you know, artillery, they deal also damage versus buildings and province morale, right? Both the rocket artillery do this and also the regular artillery do damage to province morale and the building. Now, you don't want to attack the province morale from a province because each province gives resources and money. But if you lower morale, well, you're gonna get less money, less resources once you capture the province. So it's not interesting to bombard the province center. You should avoid this. And so now you can see Turkey is again charging for me. But what is happening over here? You can see that my artillery is not targeting the province center, it is targeting the units. You can see the armored car is moving and my artillery is automatically each time adapting its range. In this case, not a lot of damage was done because, well, my artillery is only level 1 and he has, well, high level units with a lot of hit points, but you can see that I've dealt 40.5 hit points nonetheless. Alright, let's pull back now because I don't want to get caught by him. And I'm happy to have a blooper for you guys in this video, which is amazing. Accidentally, you got Turkey that has attacked me, which he wasn't supposed to do, but it's fine. So if you want to know what 10 level 5 armored cars can do of damage to an artillery stack without a meat shield, because I noticed that my meat shield is right over here. So you can see that my regular artillery got heavy damaged. I've lost 2 of them, and the rest is only at 25%. And also my anti-air is now at only 50% health. I had 208 hit points, and roughly I've lost 100 hit points in total with a single attack by armored cars. For those who paid attention will have noticed that here you have the default settings always on default fire at will. However, when you click on this, there's a menu that opens and you can choose different fire modes for your artillery. If we put them on hold fire, then they will never attack anyone. They will only start attacking when you manually order to attack. If we put them on return fire, you're only gonna bombard your enemy once you get attacked by them, which is not good because it means you're gonna take damage from them, and once your damage has been taken and your damage efficiency has been lowered, only then will you attack. Fire at will is the default behavior. If no other command is given, the closest enemy will be automatically attacked. If no other command is given, that's why, guys, I already told you, never ever attack the province center, because otherwise by default they will not attack the closest enemy. You have a premium account, you have 2 extra options. You have offensive. They start bombarding enemy armies in range, even if the execution of other orders has to be deferred. In other words, if you're setting your artillery stack on a long march and there is an enemy in range, you will stop marching, you will open fire, and once the enemy has been killed, you will continue with the march that has been set. This is very useful, especially on large maps. You want to go to bed, but you want to continue attacking, especially if it's an AI or a player that already lost half of his army. You can take the risk, continue marching with offensive fire settings. And then finally, you have aggressive. Aggressive fire settings, you need to be careful because you're going to also bombard any neutral or enemy army in range. So even a country that you haven't declared war to yet, you are at peace with, you will attack. So you can accidentally end up with AI nations here at war, which is another reason to give AI always right of way or even shared maps, not only for your popularity with AI, but to avoid that you get into an unwanted war accidentally. I almost always set my fire settings on aggressive because then I cannot get surprise attacked. If a neutral nation is surprise attacking me, my artillery, they will open fire. And as I always give right of way to AI player nations and shared maps to default AI, I never end up in war with AI, so I have no risk. For the rest, they behave like offensive. Even if you have given other orders, they're cancelled and they're gonna start attacking other units just like offensive, so you can send your units on aggressive fire settings on long marches, and even if another nation is attacking you that hasn't declared war yet, you're gonna open fire, you're gonna be on the safe side. Offensive and aggressive settings are really good to protect your artillery, and they're gonna save you a lot of time. Without offensive or aggressive fire settings, you should never ever move your troops while you're offline if you're not in friendly territory. Never. It's the best way to lose your artillery, guys. Please don't do this. And just for information, AI have by default offensive fire settings. So if you attack AI and you are marching to meet them, they will open fire as soon as you are in range, even when they're marching. I've got here 2 stacks that are perfect for Allies Doctrine artillery, and I've put them on offensive fire settings. This way I can make longer marches, and when I meet enemy units, they're gonna stop marching automatically. There are 10 railroad guns out here somewhere, so I'm keeping all my units stacked. I'm not gonna take any risk. As you can see, I've got 3 level 3 armored cars as a scout unit, and they can race ahead to capture territory faster if I would like to do that. I've got a meat shield of 5 mechanized infantry together with 5 tank destroyers, got 5 SP anti-air as well, and finally 10 SP artillery. All units are level 3. This is a great stack. And I also have an early game stack that I've upgraded. I've got 10 artillery level 4, 10 infantry level 4, 5 armored cars level 3, both as scout unit, as melee unit, and also to grab and also to split off the armored cars to take provinces faster if I would wish to, but in this case I won't. I don't want to get attacked by the enemy planes or railroad guns. Sometimes slow and steady is better than fast and losing units. And finally, I also have 6 anti-air level 3. It's very practical with offensive fire settings on. Even if you are less active, you have less risks involved marching out your artillery, as they're gonna stop automatically to open fire to any enemy unit within range. So let's put this to the test now. We're gonna put the fire settings on offensive, confirm, and I am going to march all the way to Aswan. Let's go. Of course, I'm gonna declare war. I mean, I have to declare war if I want to have good popularity, but you know what? The game ends in 4 hours, right? So AI can't attack me. So let's take aggressive fire settings. I'm at peace. I'm gonna put them on aggressive. So if all works like it is intended, which it should, then my units are going to open fire even on my ally with whom I have shared maps. No, that's not gonna work, guys. Tricked you. Aggressive fire settings will only attack players with whom you have peace or trade embargo. As I have shared maps with Turkey, I will have to declare war, even if I have my aggressive fire settings on. Makes sense, right? You don't want to attack your allies. So let's declare war to Turkey again. Okay, so any minute now, I'm gonna start opening fire. As you can see, now I am in range. However, I haven't opened fire yet. Aggressive and offensive fire settings always have a little bit of lag. So I'm gonna march with my range a little bit past the complete province center that is gray over here. And now you can see, now it opened fire, or it is going to open fire. You can see the red square here is red, so soon it's gonna turn gray. So right now I've halted my march. Be very careful when you do this not to force march, because if you force march right over here, it increases your speed by 50%, but you lose 5% hit points per hour. If I'm gonna be here attacking 4 hours while I'm actually on speed march, my speed march is gonna continue to count and I would lose 20% hit points, just like that. So be careful with this. Don't force march with aggressive or offensive fire settings on, because you could get badly surprised, right? Now there is a little bit too much lag to be good. Finally, that was a lot of lag. 1 minute 33 lag before I had the visual of having attacked. So you can see my march has halted. What you also can see is that I've paid attention to detail. I took in account the terrain, right? Because right here I am in the hills, as you can see over here. Hills and valleys with differences in altitude enable ordnance units to inflict more damage to their opponents. So I get 50% bonus here, which is why I'm here with those units, right? Also here I have hills, and I've made infrastructure level 3 so that my railroad guns can move faster. But I've kept them on the plains, because on the plains they move even faster. Railroad guns are a bit slower on hills. And also here I've built infrastructure, but it has been sabotaged that day change. As you can see, both my infrastructure and bunker has been sabotaged. That's not cool. And as the game ends, I'm not even able to repair it. And these units, as they are self-propelled units, they're way faster on the plains, like we already discussed. And they also get bonus on the plains, right? They also get bonus in the hills, 50% bonus. But as I already have my regular artillery right there in the hills, I put my SP units in the plains where they get a 20% bonus, because I need to cover that front as well, right? Turkey just became active and he is counter-attacking me, so I need to get out of there. I've got 9 minutes, so I want to set a march of 9 minutes. Now the minimum is 20, so I'm gonna set 20. I'm also gonna force march because I want to get out of there fast. However, my units are standing static on aggressive, and on offensive fire settings it is important to know that whatever moving orders you give, your units will not move if there is an enemy in range. So if I want my units to move now, I need to switch off the fire settings. I need to put them on fire at will. Otherwise, they will ignore me, because there is written, even if the execution of other orders has to be deferred, they bombard in both cases. So I confirm and gone. My units are marching out of there. I'm gonna force march, because there is one thing I don't want. It is getting caught in melee battle, because artillery are not good in melee battle. You can see I don't deal a lot of damage to these armored cars, but that's because it's a late game unit. It is level 5, while my artillery are a day 1 1 unit, right? They are level 1, so they are very slow and they deal less damage. The more you upgrade them, the faster they get and the more damage they deal. So it's a bit an unfair comparison what is happening here now, but it is an interesting showcase, right? It will show you the importance of always upgrading your units, because these loyal artillery stacks, if you protect them well, they're gonna serve you the whole game long. But you need to be active, you need to protect them well. Alright, so time has passed. Let's attack him again. There's always a little bit of lag, so if you do it twice, then it's immediately. Okay, and now I can force march out of there for half an hour. Force march, there we go. Because as I am in enemy territory, I am 50% slower, so I'm force marching because I don't want to get caught by those units. I need to get to friendly territory because my anti-air is damaged, so it is slower. This is the slowest unit I have. Speed is 30. So here I'm actually only moving at 15, and his speed is how much? 95. So even if I'm in friendly territory and he's in enemy territory, he's still gonna be faster than me. I'm gonna be marching at 30. He's gonna be marching at about 48. Alright, so 30 minutes have passed. Let's attack again. Perfect. He already attacked apparently. There is a lag. Okay, let's get into friendly territory now. Come on, man, move. You can move faster now. Luckily that I have infrastructure because I'm pretty slow. If I force march 25 minutes, so I can even go further. 72, 27.5. That's good. I should also start bringing my railroad gun, because if he follows me, I'm gonna need more firepower. There we go. Nice. Okay, so it's time to attack again. Now he's arriving very fast. He's gonna be there in 4 minutes. So I'm actually gonna have to split off and send my meat shield on the march to his position, because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to get out of there. And I'm even gonna force march, and I should send my other units here in reinforcement. I'm gonna actually force march these two, because here there needs to be more than 5 kilometers distance, but I'm actually bridging it very fast, so I should be fine. Thanks to the infrastructure level 3, I am moving 100% faster, so I'm moving pretty fast. I'm gonna stop this one. Oh no, I'm attacking. And he's defending? How is that possible? Oh, he's defending and attacking. I'm defending and attacking, and he gets his attack first. But the most important part is that my artillery have not been locked in melee combat. That's the most important thing. Now I'm gonna send in my other units in reinforcement, because I see that also his light tanks are now coming. I can stop force marching these units now. I just got attacked, and you can see that these armored cars versus unarmored units, they are overpowered, especially against low level ones as mine, because I've lost 3 anti-tank and 1 infantry. And my stack is now at 33% hit points only, but I am good for 28 minutes, which is perfect. I only need 12 minutes to get to my province center. This stack is going to be lost, I'm afraid, and I don't want to end up attacking again. You should always avoid to attack with defensive units. Now I only did this to bridge the gap further to keep my artillery safe, but you should always avoid ending up in attack. Due to these high level units and high speed, it was unavoidable to do it like this, but you shouldn't necessarily. These units, I'm gonna stop them. They're gonna be my new meat shield. Actually, as I have half an hour, I am going to bring them back to the province center. I am going to take this artillery over here. My railroad guns are gonna move in soon. They don't even need to go in the whole distance. 7 minutes, that's great. And also here it is hills, so I'm gonna get a bonus, as you can see. However, railroad guns, they don't get any bonuses, which is normal, because otherwise it would really be too overpowered. Alright, I think I'm in range. Let's put those railroad guns to good use. Attack, attack! Railroad guns are supposed to deal tons of damage, but he barely took any damage. Impressive. Railroad guns deal 86 damage versus light armored units. I've got 10 of them, so that's 86. But he has a lot of hit points. 86 per shot. He has 850 in total hit points. I would need 10 shots to kill this stack. So railroad guns are good, but they're not that overpowered, especially not in the late game and all units are high level. Let's move in closer, but maybe not too close, because if I have to escape, that wouldn't be fun. As my railroad guns are very well protected, at this point in the game there is only 2 things that could touch it and that I would be afraid of. One would be a nuclear rocket, and the other one is other railroad guns, right? Maybe even a nuclear bomber would be able to kill it, as I only have 10 anti-air which are level 1. If they were upgraded, then even a nuclear bomber would get shot down before they can attack. I'm curious to see what Turkey will do. Will he continue his attack to the province center, knowing that now there will be 10 railroad guns pounding him and 8 artillery pieces? However, those 8, they are so heavily damaged that they're only gonna deal like 33% damage, so they're maybe gonna deal damage like 3 full health artillery, so not that much. As he has a lot of hit points, he might actually go for it. Soon my units are going to merge here, which is perfect, then they can heal up a little bit. Actually they can't, because there's no infantry. Well, it added hit points, at least it's that, and he's getting hit now too. Beautiful, right? I love artillery. Turkey is counter-attacking me, so I'm gonna be obligated to retreat because those are railroad guns and I don't want to take any damage for nothing. But this is going to open my flank for my rocket artillery, and I forgot to switch off the offensive fire settings so it didn't move. I'm gonna have to advance my meat shield so that my railroad guns can pass behind it. There we go. Then I can position my railroad guns over here somewhere so that I cannot get attacked in the back by the units that are going to come from here. When you play with artillery, you always need to be careful with your artillery. Always put them behind units in a direction of which you know that the enemy will not be able to come. Because in worst case scenario like now, you can always split off your meat shield, but you don't want your artillery getting caught behind your meat shield, right? That's something you absolutely want to avoid. So far, Turkey keeps coming. I had another shot. His hit points are now at about 66%, but more units are coming in. 850 health, man. Oh boy, that's another 10 shots with the railroad gun. Let's see when I can attack again with this stack over here. 10 more minutes. Turkey continues to attack, and as he can deal a lot of damage with his high-level armored cars. 21 hit points versus unarmored units, which is amongst other infantry. He has 10 of them, so that's 210 hit points. My entire stack only has 255 hit points, so he can almost take it out in one shot. He's gonna have to wait half an hour for his next tactic, but it's gonna buy me just enough time to get the next troops in place. I was obligated to split off my meat shield from my railroad guns. They need 13 more minutes to get in place. And I also have to move my railroad guns out on this track so that I cannot get attacked from enemy units behind. And I am keeping my anti-air in there because I don't want to get counterattacked by bombers. And I also kept my scout unit, as the line of sight of a railroad gun is smaller than its range. I need a scout unit in the stack to keep my maximum efficiency in my range. It's not really a fair fight, late units versus early game units, but it's still interesting. It's fun, right? Turkey killed off my meat shield so fast that I wasn't even able to reinforce the province center, so I have to retreat. If this was a real game, then I would be in a heckload of trouble. So the morale of the story is always upgrade your units. We've got Turkey that continues to attack. I need to move. Move. Force march out of there. I only want 10 minutes, but 10 minutes in force march, that's 20, that's too much. I need like 15. Force march, let's go. And he caught me retreating, so I'm attacking and defending. That's not a good thing. I've lost a lot of hit points against those armored cars. He also lost a lot of hit points, but there's still a stack coming of more light tanks, so that's a small problem. Now also the light tanks are attacking. I only have 5 infantry left. No matter what I do, I'm gonna be screwed. Get out, man! Get out! Get out, BM Fox! Fast! Run, Forest, run! This is pretty bad. On top of it, I'm gonna counterattack in 15 minutes, and they're gonna be able to take my railroad guns. Oh boy. Artillery are very powerful when they're well protected, but they are slow, and so their biggest danger are fast units. Especially fast units like light tanks, armored cars, motorized infantry, mechanized infantry. So medium tanks, those really have a lot of hit points, very hard to kill. If you want to play artillery, you really need to be active. You need to shoot and scoot, micromanage a lot, but it is fun and it's totally worth it. Just be aware of those fast units, because as you saw, artillery, they need their time. They slowly grind down the HP of a unit at range without taking damage themselves, but they're not a meat grinder like those fast units. You need to take that in account. So I'm gonna have to go now to the last resort. I'm gonna have to split off my railroad guns from their anti-air, because I have nothing left of a meat shield to split them off from. And my units just disappeared. That's not good. My artillery opened attack. Not that it helps much, because they're heavily damaged. I have only 8 of them and they count for like 3 with their damage they have. I can still march 11 minutes further. Not that it's gonna do me any good. 11 is too far. 13 is too little. Yeah, 17 is good. Force march. Go, go, go! Damn, those 2 units combined, they're probably gonna kill this stack like in a single attack. I think they're just gonna run straight through it. I mean, we're gonna know in 4 minutes, so damn. The last thing that I would like to show you is the difference between the range of an Axis railroad gun and that one of a Comintern one or any other Doctrine. This is their normal range. Can you see the difference? It's hard to see, right? You need to look very carefully to see the difference, but the range from the Axis railroad guns is 10% larger. Stop attacking me, please! It's not fun anymore! Why is he not attacking? Travel time 1 minus 20? He's attacking me too fast. He needs to wait before he gets the next attack. That's funny. Attack is imminent. I think they're gonna run straight to me. I'm not gonna survive this. And then you need to know that this is Comintern Doctrine, right? They deal 10% less damage. I'm Axis, I deal 15% more damage and have 15% more hit points. But this is just the difference between late game units and early game units. There we go. He attacked me. I've lost 2 anti-air and I lost 90 hit points. No, I lost more. I lost 110 hit points. And I lost 110 hit points. I might actually survive it for another half an hour, as these armored cars are, yes, very much damaged. So I need to target this one because it's weak. This one, yes. Only 3 units left. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why am I attacking? I was just static. Okay, this is not cool. I noticed this before. Usually when your units were static and you're mainly defensive, they only defend. However, I've noticed since the upgrade of Call of War 2.0 that your units, even if they are defensive, they counterattack. I don't want my units to counterattack, man. They're way stronger in defense. I only want them to use defense. I'm gonna attack in 2 minutes 20. I don't want to attack. I want to slow them down for half an hour. Not cool. In 10 seconds, also this stack will die. Oh my gosh. No, he's coming. Only 7 minutes. Oh man. This one also. So fast. What happens if I stop? How much time do I need for another hit? Aha! 0-1. That's good. Immediately attack. Hit this one, hit this one, hit this one. Ah, only one gone. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, I don't even have to run away because I can't outrun him, man. Oh, this is bad. My heart is breaking. My poor railroad guns. My poor Schwerer Gustav. My poor Dora. It wasn't meant to be our relationship. I'm very sorry. I'm probably gonna get sued by the German government for malpractice. Or by Bitro. They're German too. Oh, this is gonna be painful to watch. Can I get into range a little bit longer with this one? Doesn't make any difference. No. There's nothing more I can do. The only thing I can do now is just looking beautiful with my last railroad guns and take it like a man, you know? I mean, I didn't get even far. We started over here at the province center. I managed to retreat only 1 province. I know that the African provinces are huge, but still, it's pretty bad though. The only thing I can do now is split up 1 railroad gun, force march it in there, and then send the others on their way. That's like the last desperate thing that you can do. It's gonna buy me half an hour because he just attacked me I just attacked him, and now I just need to hope that these railroad guns are going to be able to get enough space in between them for my other 9 railroad guns not to get locked in melee combat. And I actually can keep on doing this. Each time I can continue to retreat and sacrifice 1 railroad gun. Or if you're using artillery, you sacrifice 1 artillery, you continue to march with the other 9. But that's like the most desperate resort that you can ever have, like the last stand of the last stand. Just block your enemy for another half an hour. Just the half an hour you're able to get into friendly territory and to escape with the remaining part of your artillery. And I think I'm gonna have enough distance in between them not to get caught up. I hope I do. I'm not sure. I think it's not enough. Those units are simply too fast. Did I get away? Please tell me I got away. I got away! That's amazing! No, I didn't get away! Freakingly annoying. I didn't get away. Ah, that's not cool, man. Those maxed out units are simply too fast. I'm locked in melee combat. It's the end of the end. Even my most desperate move was not meant to be. In 55 seconds, unfortunately, I am going to counter-attack. Something I really don't want to do. But okay, that's gonna be the last attack of the game, because it ends in 22 minutes and 46 seconds. Last attack of the game. Unfortunately, it is in melee combat. Fighting in melee combat for ranged units is pretty bad. Avoid it at all costs, please. Wow, my 1 railroad gun of course is gone, logic, and the other one lost almost half of its hit points. Ooh, that hurts, man, that hurts. Luckily, God is mercy, and I won't have to watch my babies die, as the game will end before it. Anyway, I hope that you've all enjoyed this artillery guide with this little intermezzo of gameplay in the end, which shows very realistically the risks that are involved in using artillery. They are amazing units, but you need to protect them well. Keep upgrading them so that you don't have what I experienced in the late game. Be careful in enemy territory because you're very slow there. You'll see that using artillery is really fun.